Hey guys, welcome back to another Lifebuilds episode. In today's video, we're going to be trying to save a $500 BMW 750 Li. Yes, you heard that correctly. I bought this BMW 750 Li. It's a 2006 with a clean title and 122,000 miles for only $500. Let me walk you around the car and explain how I was able to secure such a deal and how we're going to hopefully save it and give it a new life in this episode. So starting with the front, you can see there's a lot of paint damage. It's going to need paint correction. Moving along, you can see the top has similar. It's going to need to be waxed and buffed. We got a dent here. But overall, for $500, it's really not too bad. It's got brand new Toyota Proxies on the front and a different brand of tires in the rear, but they're all brand new, which is really, really cool. But let me explain to you why I was able to get this car for 500 bucks. So it was listed for 1,500, and the ad said basically along the lines of, one day I was driving along, every light came on the dash, the car started shaking terribly, now it misfires, the check engine light's on, I limped it home, and now the car won't even start. It also has a terrible oil leak. I don't want to deal with it. That was what the ad said. That sounds to me like it's one or two issues, but it does sound like it could be a very big problem car. So I messaged the seller and I was like, hey, can I come check this out? You know, have you ever had any battery issues or whatever? And he's like, I don't care. Just come look at it. Just take it. I don't want it. I was like, cool. So I show up there and I have my top-in scanner and a voltmeter and some tools. And I go to test the battery and it has 1.2 volts in it. Only 1 volt in the battery. Obviously, that's one of the major issues. That's why the car won't start, in my opinion. The next thing I do is I hook it up to another vehicle we brought there and hook some power to it, try to jumpstart the car the correct way. If you jumpstart BMWs the backwards way, it'll actually fry modules. So I was doing it the correct way, nothing. The car would just sit there and click. It wouldn't even, and we tried for probably 20 minutes. It would not jumpstart the car. But with it hooked up, I was able to scan the car, and the seller was looking over my shoulder and he looked at it and there was probably 150, 200 codes. And most of them were battery related, voltage, high voltage, low voltage, you know, signs of an alternator failure or a battery failure. But then there was a few codes that stood out. Front left wheel speed sensor, inactive. And another one was cylinder 1 and 2 misfire, as well as a few other codes related to air conditioning. So I was like, hey, this could be a really good steal. It sounds like the battery failed, as well as a wheel speed sensor causing those lights to come on and probably needs some maintenance. So what I did to get the car here is I bought it and I talked with the seller and he was like, honestly, tomorrow I'm taking it to the junkyard. They're gonna give me $100 for it. What would you give me for the car? And I felt like $100 was really, really low for the car. I felt bad. So I was like, okay, well, I can't know if the car's gonna run. You want it gone today. I'll take it for $500. The interior was also incredibly filthy. I mean, it was a smoker's car and the guy worked construction, so there was mud, dirt. It is genuinely filthy. So I talked with the guy and he's like, $500, and he was like, oh, that's the best offer I've received. I would love to take $500 for it. So I signed everything and I bought the car. After that, I went into town and I bought a brand new battery for it. I bought some new spark plugs and I bought some oil and a few other things to bring the car back to life. I drove back to the house, put a brand new battery in it, cleared all the codes with my top-in scanner, and bam, the car roared to life. And then it promptly died and was misfiring incredibly bad. So I got it started up again, kind of revved it a little bit, and it got it to stay idling, and we limped it home about 45 minutes so that I could change out the spark plugs. So I drove to O'Reilly's right after buying it, put in 4 new spark plugs because they were the 4 easiest ones to reach, and that kind of helped the misfire. It still misfires, but it has helped it a lot. That and the battery, I got the car home. That brings me to today. Here we are, and what we're gonna do in this episode, we're gonna change the oil. We got a window regulator we gotta replace. We're gonna work on that front left wheel speed sensor. We're gonna detail the car and ultimately just give this car a new life. Now my goals with this car is my dad commutes about 180 miles each day. And last year I picked up an older Jaguar for him and he's been running that car for this year. And he puts on about 30,000 miles a year. So it's very important for him to have a very comfortable car to drive. Well, after that year of owning the Jaguar, he's like, hey, I'm kind of interested in owning something new. And he sees all the cars that I get to own and he's like, man, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I told him, we'll look for another cheap car and we'll see if we can save it and bring it back to life. So this is gonna be his new commuter car. So let's dive back in, let's take this to the garage, and let's change the oil and get a few things started. Okay, so here we are in the 7 Series. You can see that it says tire low. You can also see that the check engine light's on. And after a few minutes of driving, the ABS, the traction control, and the brake light come on, signifying the failed wheel speed sensor. Overall, the car's not too bad. I mean, it's just filthy, but the leather is actually in good condition. And you might be looking around, you're saying, maybe that's not so dirty. The car was so incredibly filthy that it was like literally getting my clothes dirty while I was driving it. So we went to a car wash, sprayed off everything, and then used the free vacuum just to vacuum it out just to get it home. It was so disgusting. There was literally like chunks of mud everywhere and smoke, and it smells like smoke in here. It's just disgusting. So we're almost to the garage. We'll get this car pulled in there, and I'll get started on this oil change and kind of show you around how we're gonna fix this car up. Okay, just like that, we have finished the oil change. Now, Zoya, my girlfriend, is going to start detailing the inside of the car. It's going to include pulling the seats, shampooing, vacuuming, and a bunch of other things. We're not going to film it though because I've already filmed an entire video detailing a car exactly like this. You can go watch my detailing a 2006 BMW 750 Li if you want to see what the process is. The only thing different in this is that it is a smoker's car. And let me show you the product we're gonna use to try to neutralize the smell. This right here is called Ozium. It's an air sanitizer spray that you can buy at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, and maybe even Walmart. It really helps neutralize the smell of smoke. So we found that you do what's called a bombing of the car. You spray the inside, turn on the vents, let it sit there for a couple hours, do it a couple times, and then shampoo the carpet so that you can hopefully get some of the smell out. So that's the only thing different, but I'm just gonna show you around the car real quick, how dirty it is right now. And mind you, this is already after we vacuumed it, so it's filthy. And then I'm gonna go do some other work on this car while she starts detailing the car. So starting here with the passenger side, you can see the seats are they're just dirty. You got grime in here. I'm sure underneath the seats it's gonna be even worse. We're about to pull those. The floors are really crusty. The dash is all dusty. You got stuff all over here. Moving into the back seat, you can see that it's been sitting for a while. You got dirt all over here. The back seats are in the same condition with all this stuff on them. The floors are dirty. And finally moving here into the driver's seat, you have some pretty rowdy stains on this floor mat. It's just dirty everywhere. And most importantly, this car smells horrible. So that's what the main goal of it is. Now we're gonna get started on that, and then in a few days, the detail will be done. I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so Zoya is already detailing the 7 Series, and I got a bunch of maintenance things to do to this car. I've already changed the oil. Now we're gonna be sucking out the power steering fluid and adding in this power steering fluid conditioner because the power steering is a little wonky. I'm gonna be replacing the serpentine belts, the cabin air filters. I have all new spark plugs. I've already replaced 4. And then we have all new coil packs we're gonna be replacing as well. I replaced 1 coil pack because it said cylinder 1 misfire, so I replaced that and 4 spark plugs. So I'm gonna replace the remaining 7, the rest of the spark plugs, and do all this maintenance for the car, which should hopefully completely fix up this car and make it run really nicely again. Another thing to note is I have a lot of projects going on right now, and I'm currently taking a day off of another car project to work on this one because I wanna get out all these videos for you guys. So if these videos seem a little sporadic, or if you see me changing outfits but the video keeps going, it's because I'm running back and forth to different cars in different days. So we're gonna get all this maintenance done, and that'll be the next kind of thing you see as we continue this project. Okay, I have finished all the coil packs and all the spark plugs, and I've started up the car to show you how well it's running now. I also want to show you how many lights are on. This is why we got the car for $500. So here you go. Isn't that beautiful? Every single light's on. But I want to show you the revs. Look at this. Look at how nicely that thing revs. No bouncing, nothing. Now let me quickly explain. Airbag lights on because there's no passenger seat. We're in the middle of the detail. I'm going to just have to clear that with my scanner after we're done with the detail. However, normally you disconnect the battery, but I knew I was gonna have it turn on anyways because I needed to do this work while we're working on the detail. The ABS, traction control, and brake light are all for the wheel speed sensor. The parking brake needs to be reinitialized, and the check engine light is because I haven't cleared it from changing the spark plugs. So super happy with how that turned out. Next thing I'm gonna do when I get to it is changing the belts, because you can still hear squealing. But the power steering seems to be working a little bit better right now, so that's good. And that's gonna be the next thing you guys see. Okay guys, it's a few days later here, and the next thing I ended up doing was I changed out the wheel speed sensor on the front left wheel. Forgot to film it, so I'll just show you. Here's the new one, here's the old one, and we're gonna go ahead and put the new tire on and see what happens. Maybe it turns off the lights, maybe it doesn't. I really hope it does because it said it was the wheel speed sensor, but super easy to repair. I replaced many of them before, but if you guys are interested, it's literally like a 5-minute job. You pull the wheel off, disconnect a couple wires, pull the sensor and replace it. So I'm gonna go inside the car after this. We'll take it on a test drive and we'll see. Maybe it turns off all the lights. Okay, here we are in the 7 Series. And as you can see, all the lights are on like it was last time. I just scanned the car and I'm gonna go ahead and clear all of these, and we're gonna see what comes back after the test drive. I'm hopeful that the wheel speed sensor fixes it. However, I did order the wheel speed sensor off of Amazon, and I've heard rumors that some of the BMWs require a coded one or an OEM one for the wheel speed sensor to work, and some of them don't. I've had good luck with the Amazon ones, but if this one doesn't clear the codes and it doesn't turn everything off, then that means I probably have to go get a different wheel speed sensor and return this one to Amazon. It just finished clearing, so you can see everything's cleared. I'm gonna go on a test drive and we'll see if the systems rearm and what comes back. Okay, so after a short test drive, unfortunately, the lights came back on. And let me show you the code that came up. Scanning the ABS module, we have a steering angle sensor. That's understandable. But beside it is the wheel speed sensor front left, and it says wrong type. So it appears that this is one of those cars where I either have to get an OEM model or I have to get the sensor coded to the module. I don't know which route I'm gonna end up going, but that's probably where I'll end it on this video because that's gonna be something later on. The car drives perfectly fine. We gave it our best shot. I'm gonna go order a different part. What's left on this car, we just finished the detail. Obviously this seat's still moved out of its position, but we basically finished up the detail. I'll show you that in the next clip tomorrow. And besides that, we have a few more things, but honestly, this car is really, really coming together. And for $500, you can't go wrong with a few lights on a BMW. So I'm super stoked, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with something new to do on this car. Okay, so here we are at the next day, and today's a very, very special day. It's delivery day. Today I'm delivering the 7 Series. It is completely finished to my dad, and we're gonna get his reaction because he got to see this the day it was purchased, and it was a horrible car. It was disgusting inside. It didn't run very well. In fact, it didn't run when we bought it. Got it running. It was misfiring like crazy, and you know, it's really cool to be able to transform a car to such a standard that this car is now at. Let me catch you up a little bit. After that last clip, I ended up working really late into the night because I knew today I was gonna be delivering the car. I replaced the serpentine belt, and I also replaced the passenger window regulator, which was really, really hard, but I got it done. So, no more squeal, which is a really, really good thing. Passenger window regulator. Let me show you this. Boom, all the way down. And like a window should, it goes all the way back up. Super stoked about that one. It took quite a while, not because it was a bad design, but because I didn't have the right tool, and I was trying to get a little 5mm wrench in there, and it was a whole process, but I fixed it and I was super happy with that. However, that brings me to today. I want to show you guys around this car. My girlfriend Zoya detailed it and it looks phenomenal. I mean, I'm genuinely surprised. It doesn't smell in here, and she's just absolutely incredible at detailing cars. So let me show you around. So whenever we detail a car, we put down a reg so we can keep the floor mats nice and clean for a couple days. So you can see I just got some dirt in here, but check this out. I mean, you guys remember how this car looked when we first got it. All the interior is nice and clean. Passenger seat, passenger footwell. Oh man, it's nice. As we open the back door, you can see this. I mean, look at that. It literally looks like a brand new car in here. You can see the carpets. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but they're really, really clean. The leather's nice and reconditioned. This car just looks like it's worth a ton more money than we paid for it. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. As you can see, the ABS lights turned themselves off. After that clip, I don't know if they're gonna come back on as soon as I start driving, but that's big progress. And overall, I'm super, super happy with this car. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Lysol treatment to the air conditioning, which is where you turn on the car and you spray some Lysol in the condenser, and it sterilizes all the systems so it smells a lot better. And the final thing we're gonna be doing is just giving this car a nice wash so it looks like $1 million when I give it to my dad. So that'll be the next few clips we see, and then this project is completely done. And to answer your question, yes, we did save a $500 BMW. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Throw you guys on the next few clips, and then we'll end this series out. Okay, so I've made it to the garage, and I'm gonna show you the process of doing a Lysol treatment to your air conditioning. Now, the reason you do that is, even though the car smells amazing, when you first turn on the air conditioning or the heat, it blows this puff of old, nasty smelling air. And how you can fix that is you sterilize the system. Sometimes mildew or mold grows in there, or in this case, I'm assuming smoke and ash from the guy smoking in the car. All that can go in there and just makes this nasty smell. So I have the hood pop in the 7 Series, and you have 2 cabin air filters. You have one there and there. You wanna pop this up. There's our brand new cabin air filter. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go inside, you're gonna start up the car, and you're gonna spray a can of Lysol in there on all of the different settings that the air conditioning and heat offer. You wanna do full heat, and then you wanna do full heat on recirculate. Then you wanna do air conditioning, and then you wanna do full air conditioning with recirculation. And you just wanna keep spraying some Lysol in there. Obviously don't sit inside the car because you don't wanna breathe all that in. I'm gonna do that right now so that it can sit inside the air conditioning while I wash the car. But I'm just gonna show you the process real quick. That way, maybe it can help you guys out with some stinky air conditioning. Okay, so I just started up the car. I turned on air conditioning on high. As you can see there, we have max air conditioning. And now I'm gonna grab my can of Lysol and I'm just gonna spray a bunch in there. Some people recommend using a whole can. I just say go until it doesn't smell anymore. So here you go. And then I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna repeat the process. And it's the exact same setup for heat, air conditioning, recirculation, all of that. You just do that and hopefully it makes the car smell better. So the next thing is we're gonna wash this car. I'll just snap my fingers, make the car clean again. But I'll show you around right now. You can kind of see, it's not too bad. The wheels are a little dirty. The roof's pretty dusty and dirty. And we're gonna wash it and I'll show you that process after. Okay, I just finished washing the outside and the car is completely finished. Check it out. As you can tell, there's still some sun damage on the hood and on the roof, but the wheels cleaned up really nicely. And most importantly, I just quick waxed the entire car and it's a lot smoother. So for a $500 car, this thing turned out absolutely amazing. Yeah, check that out. So that concludes the end of the 7 Series restoration. We took a $500 non-running, completely neglected car, and we turned it into something that my dad's gonna be able to use for maybe a year or 2 or more if he loves the car, and it's gonna be super comfortable. So I'm really, really excited with how this turned out. And if you guys enjoyed this series, make sure to smash the subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below what your favorite part was, or if you wanna see me try to do more cars like this, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. I got a ton of videos coming out for you guys, and I really appreciate all the support I've received. So with that being said, I will catch you guys next week with a new video.